Dating apps are pushing me to the edge. Cheers. What's going on? My name is Cole Connor. I'm an artist and entrepreneur, and I was put here to do two things: create and inspire. Thanks for being here. Let's get into it. If you see me looking right here, it's just my iPad. It's my notes. Dating apps. If you checked out the last video, thank you. It did pretty well, and it seemed like people liked me talking about different things, and I was kind of excited by that because I've been wanting to talk more about love and life in general for a long time, and I don't know, I wasn't sure if other people were interested. Also, I was feeling orange today, if you can't tell. This is like one of my favorite beers, the Dominga Mimosa Sour. It's a sour ale with calamansi fruit. So, there's so much wrong with dating apps. And I'm not saying they're all bad, but let me just talk about my experience with them. Maybe let's start with the positives. For me personally, it has built my ego a little bit, and not just like not in the ego as in like a braggadocious way, but like in I guess a surprising way, because I don't know if you can connect with this, but like I don't always look at myself like I'm this super attractive guy. God, I hope it doesn't sound bad. I keep thinking about the other video now, and I'm like, I don't know. I know I'm not going to be able to recreate that moment, so I'm not going to try to if you watch the other one, but I am just going to try to be genuine and honest. And how do you like my cactus, by the way? I know you can't really see much of it, except for like this here, but it's so nice and big. Yeah, so I think it's built my ego in a little bit in the way that it makes me realize that there are a ton of people who will think that I am an attractive person, and I don't always look at myself that way. I was talking to a friend the other day, and I was like, sometimes I look in the mirror at myself, and I'm like, I look pretty good. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting some other version of myself that for some reason I feel like I am. But then you look in the mirror, and you're like, oh, that's cool. Eventually, I've had my mom before and my dad be like, some days I look in the mirror and I'm like, who am I? Because you age and you're like, whoa. So I'm sure that will happen. But for now, it's kind of like, it's like a pleasant surprise sometimes. At the same time, it also does not build my ego, because there is still like a constant rejection in a way. It's like not even... Could be rejection as in someone doesn't respond, or it could be rejection as in that you do have 3 messages and you don't ever talk again, or rejection as in you don't get the matches that you want them to get matched, or whatever it is. So there's some of that. Another positive, though, is I've met already some really awesome people and that are really cool, and I've hung out with and all that, and it can be like really exciting. I think it's an exciting thing to do, to be swiping, and you're seeing all these different women with all these personalities, and you wonder, are they gonna rock with you? Who are they? What are the possibilities? I don't know. So there's something kind of exciting about that, I will admit. But I think the negatives do outweigh the positives in a lot of ways. For example, it's exhausting. Like, it takes so much time to be on dating apps. And not to mention, there are tons of dating apps, and I've been on and I'm on a lot just cuz, but there's even like way more. And then not to mention, like, setting things up, yeah, sure, you got to do that with everything, but it's just like a lot to be constantly be like, because if you don't swipe, then you don't get any matches. But once you get the match, you have to like try to maybe be creative about your responses. So it means you have to like stop what you're doing and be like, how can I respond to this to get this girl's attention? And then as you build the relationship with someone, it just takes a lot of energy to talk. And I'm not saying it's bad always or anything, but what happens usually is you start to build a relationship and then one person just kind of stops. And so it like ends up being like you were just filling your time building this relationship that goes nowhere. And they don't all have to go to a relationship. They could be friends or acquaintances or hookups, whatever you're into. But it's exhausting. It's just, you can't get around it. It's exhausting, especially if you have like a decent amount of matches. Talking to a couple people at the same time is a lot. So that's my thought on that. But it also becomes like addicting, and it becomes like you're like, I guess this might be a man thing. It could be like a porn thing that men are used to. I don't know, but you're sexualizing women constantly pretty much, because I don't know about you, but I swipe based on looks pretty much all the time. So there may be let's see. How do I swipe? Like so initially there has to be, I think maybe I mentioned this in the last video, but if you're like, we're just rating attractiveness for the purpose of the analogy or whatever that I'm about to say. It's not good to judge people based on this purely, but there has to be a certain attractiveness level that I am to this person. So let's say I'm like we're gonna do a 1 to 10. Oh my god, I feel bad doing this, but this is the reality. If you're going to do 1 to 10, let's say someone is a 5 and then you have a 10. I'm going to probably, maybe not a 5, maybe like a 6 or a 10. I'm going to, and this is to me, this isn't in general, this is attractiveness to me, I will swipe. Then if I get matched with someone, that's when I go more into their profile and I'm like, okay, this seems like a person that I really want to start a conversation with. Sometimes I do read the profile before a match. Maybe if I'm really curious, I'll be like, oh, okay, this person seems really cool, and I'll get really maybe like excited about the possibility, but usually it just doesn't work out for whatever reason. But also I feel like recently I have been a lot more picky. So in the beginning of my singledom, I was just like swipe. As long as you're at least a certain attractiveness to me, I'm going to swipe on you. Then that was so overwhelming. I was like, ugh, I mean, maybe I should be more picky. And so now I'm much more picky, and it's interesting because I find myself, even women that are very attractive, I will swipe left on if I feel like, it could just be I don't like their vibe, or it could be they seem pretentious or something, or all of their photos are super it's not modelly, it's just there's something about them that I feel like we wouldn't click, or they seem maybe it's really hard to judge without talking to someone. But I don't know, I guess I'm just being more picky, and I don't just swipe right on hot women, I guess that's what I'm saying. But it is addicting, and it can be like triggering in a way where you just like are constantly sexualizing people, and I don't think it's a good way to be spending a lot of your time. And you're like, so what now? You're gonna like walk down the street and just be like, what I swipe right, what I swipe left, what I swipe right, what I swipe left. And really, I think a majority of connection and chemistry, it's not about attractiveness. Of course that is something, and it's very important, but it's not. I mean, there could be a million beautiful women in front of me, but I will choose the least beautiful one if we have a connection, because that's what it's about. It's that chemistry. That's what gives you that like fire, that passion, and that's what's exciting. It's not just having sex with a pretty person. It's just not exciting. These are good. These are good. Yeah, so it pretty much just triggers being looked at looking at things as sexual objects, which isn't necessarily great. And also what I find is, like with women that maybe I want to be matched with, or even women that we match but they don't give me a chance. I mean, I'm not stressing it really, because it doesn't, I feel like there's just so many people and women and stuff that it's just move on. That's kind of how I feel. But it sucks that some people, there's so much on this like first interaction, which I understand, but it's like I would rather just see the person, honestly. If I feel a certain level of chemistry, sometimes I don't even need to talk to them. I would like to see them. I do get how, I think with women particularly, they could feel like that's dangerous and you want to communicate and talk first. I get that. So I'm not against that. Like, I'm not always trying to waste time, like, go on all these dates with people I'm not going to have any chemistry with. So I do want to know there's going to be a little chemistry. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just saying, I feel like some people don't even give it a chance. But that's okay. There's enough people who do, where it works, I guess. Here's one. It's hard to know people's true intentions on the apps. And yes, you can say whatever you want. And like, I guess I'm more of an ambiguous person on the apps. Like, if you look at my profile, but I don't know, you just don't know these people. So that's like a part of it too. It's like, it's just confusing. Does this person just want to hook up if she never brings up hooking up? Does this person, are they looking for something? Are they only for serious stuff? It's kind of like it's kind of a weird place, I guess. And then you have to trust. I think that's kind of what I was saying in the last video, is that people immediately will discard you if your intention maybe isn't quite the same as theirs, not letting things develop. And maybe the other way too, some people are on there just for hookups, so they don't want even to know your personality or anything. I don't know, it's just kind of weird, like boxing people in like that. Catfishing is easy on the apps, and that's something that I feel like sometimes my profile can come off as that, because I have like more professional pictures, but so I try to put like some other types too, so it's not like that. But yeah, I have a catfish story. I'm not going to share it right now. I think I'm going to save it, but it's crazy. I mean, it is wild what people can do. And so that's like, I guess it's a negative of them. Ugh, God. I think this is mostly with women. I'm sure men have their own thing they do. So women, please let me know in the comments, what do men do on the dating apps that is like a lie? But women, the filters. The filters. The filters. Ugh, God. I don't even want to say it. But I have been, I hate to call it tricked, but it's like, you see people and they look a certain way, and you really think there's not even filters, and then you meet them and you're like, wait, what? Like, why? I would much rather have known you looked a certain way, and if I liked you enough based on the way you look, as in if I like the way you look enough and I liked your personality, then I would continue to, and I wouldn't be, let down when I see you. But it just feels like a lie. And you see someone and you're like, wait, what? You just don't look like that. And now I'm like let down when I see you for the first time in person. That's why people do like FaceTimes and shit, which I haven't really done a lot of, but yeah. Like sometimes it's exciting to not see someone than see someone, but I don't know, after being let down a couple times, it's like, God, just don't do the filters. Just don't do the filters. I know it's tough, but just don't do it. I guess it's just kind of all goes into this, it's so exhausting. Like, it is exhausting to also build a relationship with someone, then feel like they're not who they said they were. There's like the filter thing, and then it's exhausting to talk to a certain amount of people and have to put so much effort in. And like I'm doing a lot of shit, and I already said I'm not like looking for anything serious, so it's more like casual. But I would be open to the possibility. But it's just like, yeah, it adds up quick, and there's. But here's where it goes back to, is like, of course we get lonely, and whether you're looking for something serious or not, you get lonely, and you want to like talk to new people and sometimes make new friends. And in a big city like this one, yeah, you can meet people. I think the pandemic changed it though. Like, yes, you can meet people. Like, I've met a lot of people in acting class that really helped me connect with like a community, and that's fantastic. But I think maybe the pandemic mixed with the type of city that LA is, I get why people say it's difficult, and feels sometimes, I think, creepy as a guy. Like, if I were to hit on someone at a bar, part of this is an excuse because that's pretty nerve-wracking for me to do that. I'm not saying I wouldn't ever do it, but I'm not usually the type of guy to do that. I'm more like, I'll people watch, maybe I'll make eye contact, but it would take a lot for me to be like strong connection enough to go up to a woman. And it would have to be obvious that she's really open to it, which is a whole nother thing. So like that's exhausting too. You gotta go out, you gotta buy drinks, you gotta like be alone or have a wingman. But I don't really have a wingman, so I'll have to go alone, and then you're like, is this creepy? Does this girl want to be hit on? I can't really tell. It's a very exhausting process. I don't remember what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's just like, it's back to the intentions thing. It's like, it's so much work, and then you just don't know if it's gonna work out. That's not what I was saying. Okay. I'm sorry. I got confused. It's not at the beer. I'm not drunk. It's one beer. Is one beer. Okay, so another big problem with the dating apps. The paywall. It's so expensive. I don't have the prices, and I'm not going to pull them all up, but it's like each dating app minimum, if you want to like pay for things, like $25 a month. And let's just say there's like the top 3: Bumble, Hinge, and Tinder. Let's just say those things, it's like $75 to $100 a month. But the thing is, without the paywall, this is what I read the other day. Hinge is an example, but I think they all are doing it in some way or another. But Hinge has this like standout feature. So maybe it's the coolest, maybe it's the hottest or most popular, I don't fucking know. Maybe the ones that get the most likes or something. You see them, but you have to like buy roses or something to like hit them up. So what this TikTok I saw was saying was that all these really awesome people are behind this, like, where you have to have roses, and so they like get the short end of the stick, and then the good people have to buy roses in order to connect with them. And so it's like you have to pay for the good people or something, which is kind of fucked up also. But it's like, who is deciding these people? Is it like an algorithm or what? But it's the same with like Tinder. You gotta super like people and boost your profile. I mean, in a city like LA, I mean, who knows how many single people there are? There's might be 1 million. Even if there's 100,000 single people under 40, and 50,000 are men, 50,000 are women, that's a lot of people you have to swipe through and hope to get a match. And so you're assuming that the woman that you're going to match with is also swiping a lot to get to you, but you increase your chances if you're boosting your profile and you're paying for super likes. Yeah, but it adds up. There's something kind of twisted about it. It's like paying for friends. It's like paying to go on a date, but nothing's guaranteed. So you could find the love of your life. You could find a hookup. You could find a best friend, which is cool, but you also could just not find anything. So it's like a risk. I don't know. I think it's too expensive, to be honest. I would be okay with paying for things, but a subscription of $25 to $40 a month is crazy. Are the apps good for dating and or love in general? You know, there's pros and cons, but I'm starting to like them more now that I'm pickier, and I feel like I don't know what it is exactly. Maybe I know more of what I want, so I'm more transparent, and I'm pickier, so I'm more excited about the people that I talk to. So I'm not as mad at them at the moment. But I think that it can keep you kind of like sucked in like a hermit almost. And it takes away this like adventurous almost spirit that maybe people used to have before dating apps. This more spontaneous, like, I'm gonna get the nerve to go up and talk to this girl. I don't know. There's something. It's surprising, but I think the dating apps have almost pushed me in that direction. As in, sometimes I was really feeling like this a while ago. Like, I just don't want to deal with all the app stuff. I just want to go out and just hang out with people, see things, do things, live my own life, and when I see a girl, make a move. And that's not the type of person I usually am. But yeah, sometimes the apps can make me want to go that direction, which is interesting. I think I'll still use a mixture of both, and like I said, as I'm kind of using them more, I'm like finding the right ways, I think, to maneuver all of it. It's kind of vague, but I don't know. I just feel like I'm better at it, I guess, at the apps. Um, but yeah, I think for a second it was like an addicting type thing for me, where it's just like every night when I get bored, I hop on the app. I'm not saying I don't do that now, because that's when everything slows down for me, so it makes sense for me to hop on them. But I think now it's more of like, I think in the beginning I was just looking at it all the time. So like throughout the day I'm just constantly like checking and looking, and now I kind of like live my life, and then in the evening I check it out, see what's popping, swipe a little bit, and then the connections that I slowly make are usually more genuine, and I find myself, actually wanting to talk to those people. And then as you find people to talk about, you like also don't depend on the apps. When you find people to talk to, you don't depend on the apps, and you're actually building real relationships. So I think also that comes with time, you know. You know, one of the comments, or a couple of them, who were kind of asking me to talk about stuff like this from the last video. It's like how it's hard to date in this day and age, and it's not really what this video is about particularly, but I don't know. With that being said, I'm not saying I don't know whether it's easy or hard. I don't know. But here's kind of like, I'm no expert, obviously, but my thoughts and advice for dating apps. Maybe you'll find it helpful. Maybe not. I think you should be picky. I think maybe if you're just looking to hook up, I mean, that's your own thing. You're looking to hook up, so whatever. But if you're anything more than hooking up, whether it's a friendship or a casual or short term or long term, whatever people say, just like be picky. That helps so much. It saves your time. When you match, you actually care. You actually are like, well, this person could be cool. So that's my advice, is to be picky so you don't waste your time. Yes, you may get way few matches, and maybe you're already doing that, but hey, it's better than just like wasting your time. Match with the right people. And when you match, actually give a fuck and try. This ended up being a joke, but I hit up this girl not too long ago, and we had like a couple messages back and forth, and she seemed nice. And then she stopped saying anything, and then I sent 2 messages, and then I sent I literally was wanting to do something with someone, and so I was like, "What you up to tonight?" And then the next day, she was like, desperate, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, I send you 2 messages, and then I say, "Want to hang out?" Pretty much, I said it cooler than that though, and then I'm desperate. So, and then I was kind of like, I was really annoyed by that. I was like, why are you even on this thing? Why am I wasting my time trying to have a conversation when you, like, you're gonna make fun of me for trying? It's stupid. I mean, it's ridiculous and silly. And what ended up happening was she messaged me a couple days later and was like, "Oh my god, my friend was like sending messages to my matches and trying to be silly and stupid." Who knows if she was telling the truth, but I assume she was telling the truth because it was weird. Like, she said a couple other weird things, but anyways, it's the same. I think people do that, and so you do match, and then people don't try. So if you're gonna be picky, and then when you match, actually give a fuck and set some time aside. I think you got to make sure your profile is super clear. Like, put a couple tidbits about yourself so that the other person can at least try to show their personality and have like an interaction with you. I mean, I'm not saying my profile is perfect, but I give a couple tidbits about me so that way you can be like, oh, okay, this person seems like real and like cool. Like, put a little bit of effort into that if you're going to be wasting your time swiping. That's my opinion. And then also maybe set a clear, like, what you're kind of looking for versus, like, you know how they have the multiple choice options. Just, I think you should say, like, hey, I'm open to this, but I'm not really looking, or I'm only looking for a long-term relationship. It's usually girls that say that makes me like, I don't know, I don't really, especially where I'm at right now, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't even talk to you. Sometimes I still do if I really, really feel it, but I don't know. That's not a red flag, but it definitely is. No, it's not a red flag. It's like maybe we're just not in the same place, and so I don't usually interact as much. Because I made that mistake before. Don't do it. I think it's better to meet someone sooner than later. I think I've had an experience where I waited way too long to meet someone, and it just gets kind of weird. I'm going to tell you that story. It's kind of like the catfish story, but do you want to hear the catfish story? Tell me if you want to hear it, because it would be interesting to know. If y'all want to hear it. It seems like, so yeah, I would just meet people sooner than later. That's my opinion. And it doesn't have to be right away, but like, don't wait like months. Maybe like a couple weeks. Man, I have to pee so bad. I have to finish this. Is this. I feel like it's especially as a guy, but maybe as a girl too, you gotta pay for something. At least try them out. You obviously don't have to pay for all of them, but I think maybe it's more of, I feel like it's probably more of a guy thing. Boost your profile every once in a while. Maybe do some of the rose type super like stuff. I don't know. I don't know about all that. Maybe if you really, 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 really think it's going to be a mutual connection. But sometimes you got to pay. I recommend not doing it all the time. I recommend taking it slow. Not counting on it, but when things happen, like I said, just put in the effort when they happen. That's my main thought. And giving people something to work with. I'm no dating expert, but I'm just saying that's my thoughts on it. And I think in general the apps are okay, but you just have to be careful with how you use them. They can be a tool, or they can be a hindrance in your dating life and friend life, and yeah, just don't treat them like another addiction for us to have. Like, don't treat it like a social media. Be intentional about it, no matter what your goal is with it. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about dating apps. I'm gonna tell y'all some stories at some point about it all. But yeah, that's where I'm at with the dating apps. I'm going to continue to use them because I feel like it is a way to meet more people, and I have already met really cool people, and yeah, I don't know if I'll find anything on them or not. I don't know. I don't know, but because I'm in more of a casual place, I think it's nice to have that um, that avenue to meet new people. So that's where I'm at with it. But I'm not gonna let it keep me from making moves in real life. And um, yeah, what do y'all think about the dating apps? I mean, do you like them? Do you not like them? Do you use them? What's weird about them to y'all? There's so many types too, so many different ones. Um, yeah, is there anything else I should talk about in this realm? I have some other ideas. I think I'm gonna keep going, keep trying to talk about different things. But yeah, I thought this was an interesting one, so that's where I'm at with it. I guess that's it. Let me know what I should talk about next. If you made it here, drop a comment. Drop a New Belgium if you made it this far. All right, my name is Cole. I'll catch you next time. I'm gonna pee and just subscribe if you like it. More on the way.